After being blind for 5 years, I could see again but pretended I couldn't. What I witnessed my husband and sister doing made me file for divorce immediately. Hey lovelies. Subscribe if you enjoy stories like this, and let us know in the comments where you're joining us from. Now let's continue with the story. The neurologist's words echoed in my head as I sat in the examination room, tears streaming down my face. Miss Thompson, your vision has returned. It's extraordinary. The experimental treatment worked. 5 years. 5 years of darkness after that devastating car accident that killed my parents and stole my sight. 5 years of depending on my husband Nathan and my younger sister Tanya for everything. 5 years of learning to navigate a world I could no longer see. I should have run home screaming with joy. Instead, something made me hesitate when Dr. Harrison asked, "Should we call your husband?" "Not yet," I whispered, my hands trembling. I need a moment." That moment changed everything. I'd learned to read people through their voices during my blindness. The slight tremor when someone lied. The forced cheerfulness hiding contempt. The uncomfortable silences that spoke volumes. And lately I'd noticed something off between Nathan and Tanya. Whispered conversations that stopped when I entered rooms. The scent of Tanya's perfume lingering in places it shouldn't. Nathan's phone calls taken in the garage at odd hours. Just paranoia, I'd told myself repeatedly, feeling guilty for suspecting the two people who'd sacrificed so much to care for me. But now, driving home in the medical transport with my eyes hidden behind my familiar dark glasses, a terrible thought crystallized. What if my blindness was the only thing keeping me safe? What if the moment they knew I could see, everything would change? I decided to wait. To watch. To finally see the truth I'd only sensed in darkness. If you're enjoying this story, please hit that like button and subscribe. You won't believe what happens next. The front door opened before I could reach for it. "Baby, you're home." Nathan's voice was warm, his hands gentle as they guided me inside. The same hands that had held me through countless panic attacks during those early, terrifying months of blindness. Through my dark glasses I could finally see his face. Still handsome at 34 with those deep brown eyes I'd fallen in love with 10 years ago. But there was something else there now, something I couldn't quite name as he helped me to the couch. "How was the checkup?" he asked. "Same as always," I lied smoothly, years of navigating in darkness making me an excellent actress. "No change. Dr. Harrison says we shouldn't expect anything different at this point." I heard the small exhale, relief. "Well, at least you're healthy otherwise. That's what matters." "Hey, Tanya's coming over for dinner. She picked up groceries earlier." My sister. My baby sister who I'd practically raised after our mother died when she was 12. Who'd moved in with us after my accident, claiming she wanted to help. Who'd become Nathan's assistant in managing our household finances since I could no longer handle paperwork. The key turned in the lock. "I'm here." Tanya's voice sang out. Through my glasses I watched her enter, 28, beautiful, wearing a dress I recognized. Not because I remembered it from before my blindness, but because I'd bought it for myself 3 years ago. It had mysteriously disappeared in the laundry. She kissed my cheek and I caught it, that same perfume from Nathan's car last week. "How you feeling, sis?" she asked, squeezing my shoulder. "Grateful to have you both," I replied, meaning every word in ways she couldn't imagine. The real show was about to begin. Dinner was an elaborate performance. I fumbled with my fork appropriately, tilted my head toward voices as I'd learned to do, laughed at the right moments. But I was watching. Really watching. The casual brush of Tanya's hand against Nathan's as she passed him the salt. The way his eyes followed her movements across the kitchen. The knowing smile they exchanged when they thought I wasn't looking. "I'm going to bed early," I announced after we'd finished eating. "Headache. Want me to help you upstairs?" Nathan offered, already standing. "No, I've got it. You two finish your wine." I navigated the stairs with practiced ease, counting steps I'd memorized years ago. At the top I paused, listening. Silence. Then Nathan's voice lowered. "When are you going to tell her?" My heart stopped. Tanya responded, but too quietly for me to hear. I crept back down 3 steps, staying in the shadows. "Can't keep doing this," Nathan was saying. It's been 8 months. I love you, Tanya, but this is killing me. She's my wife. Your wife who can't even see what's right in front of her. Tanya laughed bitterly. Nathan, we've been through this. Once we get access to her disability settlement next month, we can. I must have made a sound, a gasp, a sob, something, because they both went silent. Did you hear that? Tanya whispered. Claire. Nathan called out. You okay up there? I forced steadiness into my voice. Just knocked into the wall. I'm fine. Going to bed now. I made it to my room, closed the door and slid down against it, my hand pressed over my mouth to muffle the sobs. 8 months. They'd been together for 8 months. And they were planning something with my money. Sleep didn't come that night. I lay in bed listening to Nathan's eventual footsteps on the stairs, feeling the mattress dip as he settled beside me. The same bed where we'd once planned our future, dreamed of children, promised forever. You awake? He whispered. I kept my breathing steady, feigning sleep. He sighed and I felt him turn away. The next morning I waited until both Nathan and Tanya left. Him to his contracting business, her supposedly to her job at the salon. But I'd heard Tanya quit 2 months ago. Another lie in an ocean of deception. Alone in the house, I removed my dark glasses. The sunlight through the windows was almost painful after so long, but I had work to do. I started with Nathan's home office. The room I hadn't entered since losing my sight, supposedly because it was too cluttered for me to navigate safely. My hands trembled as I opened his desk drawer. The photos were right there. No attempt to hide them deeply, because why would they? I couldn't see. Nathan and Tanya at the beach. Kissing. His hands on her waist in a way that spoke of intimacy, of ownership. Another photo. Them in our bed, her wearing my robe. Dozens of pictures documenting a relationship that had flourished in my darkness. But it was the documents underneath that made my blood run cold. Life insurance policies. Worth $800,000. With a sticky note in Tanya's handwriting. Accidental death pays double. My hands shook so badly I nearly dropped the papers. They weren't just betraying me. They were planning to kill me. The evidence continued. Bank statements showing money transferred from my disability account. Emails discussing the plan and timeline. Text messages filled with declarations of love and strategies to handle the Claire situation. I photographed everything with my phone. Mrs. Thompson, what you're showing me is deeply concerning. Attorney Rebecca Washington studied the photos spread across her desk, her dark eyes sharp with focus. You came to me specifically because 3 years ago, before I lost my sight, I came to you about updating my will. I explained, my voice steady despite the chaos inside me. You were recommended by my friend Janet. You probably don't remember. I remember, she interrupted. You wanted to ensure your assets were protected. We did a consultation, but then you canceled after your accident. I assumed that I'd handle it with a local lawyer, someone who could come to me. I shook my head. I never got around to it. Too overwhelmed with learning to be blind. But I kept your card. This morning I called from a burner phone Nathan doesn't know about. Rebecca leaned back in her chair. How long have you been able to see? 3 days. The experimental treatment worked, but I haven't told anyone. I met her gaze directly. I need to understand my options before they know. Because once they realize I can see, I think they'll accelerate whatever they're planning. She nodded slowly. Smart. Very smart. Okay, let's talk about what we're dealing with. First, the financial theft. We can prove that. Second, the affair. Alabama is a fault state for divorce, so adultery matters. Third, and most critical, these documents suggesting potential harm to you. Will the police take it seriously? I asked. Or will it sound like a paranoid blind woman who's imagining things? With this evidence, they'll take it seriously. But Claire, I need to ask you something difficult. Rebecca's expression softened. What do you want? Justice? Safety? Just to get away? I thought about the woman I'd been before the accident. Strong. Independent. A marketing director with a thriving career. Then I thought about who I'd become. Dependent, grateful for scraps of affection, apologizing for existing. All of it, I finally said. I want everything. That afternoon, I returned home and did something I'd been avoiding. I called my best friend, Janet. Claire. Girl, I've been meaning to call you. How are you? Her warm voice brought tears to my eyes. I need you to tell me something honestly, I said. And I need you to not ask me why I'm asking. Can you do that? Hesitation. Of course. What's up? When you visit me, does Tanya seem different? Does she act strange around Nathan? The silence stretched too long. Janet. Claire. She exhaled slowly. I wasn't sure if I should say anything. I didn't want to put ideas in your head when you couldn't verify things yourself. But yeah. Last time I came over about 6 months ago, I walked into the kitchen and they were standing really close. They jumped apart when they heard me. And Tanya had this look, guilty, you know? I've been worried, but I thought maybe I was reading too much into it. My suspicions confirmed, but it hurt anyway. Why didn't you tell me? Because what if I was wrong? What if I damaged your marriage over nothing? You were already going through so much. Her voice cracked. Claire, what's going on? Are you okay? I will be, I promised. But I need another favor. Can you come over tomorrow afternoon? Round 2? And act completely normal, like nothing's wrong. You're scaring me. Trust me. Please. The next day I prepared carefully. I'd convinced Nathan to work from home, citing anxiety about being alone. Tanya was already there, as she was most days now. I suggested we all have lunch together on the patio, something we'd done often before my accident. When Janet arrived, I heard the change in the atmosphere immediately. Janet's presence shifted everything. I could feel Tanya's tension, see how Nathan's shoulders tightened. They weren't comfortable having a witness to their little domestic arrangement. Claire, you're looking well, Janet said, hugging me. Her hands squeezed mine briefly, a signal that she understood something was happening. We settled on the patio and I played my role perfectly. The grateful blind woman, dependent on her loving family. Nathan has been amazing, I said, reaching toward where I knew he sat. And Tanya, moving in to help. I don't know what I'd do without you both. We're family, Tanya responded, but I caught the glance she shot Nathan. That's what family does. Speaking of family, Janet interjected smoothly. Claire, remember your cousin David? He called me asking for your number. Said he's been trying to reach you. I'd asked Janet to create this opening. David was my father's lawyer, the executor of my parents' estate, the one who'd helped me receive my inheritance and settlement after the accident. Oh, David. I acted surprised. I haven't heard from him in months. Did he say what he needed? Something about reviewing your trust documents. Annual check-in stuff. Janet's tone was casual, but I saw Tanya and Nathan exchange a sharp look. Nathan cleared his throat. Actually, Claire, I've been meaning to talk to you about that. We should probably review your financial arrangements. With your disability settlement maturing next month, we need to make sure everything's properly structured. For tax purposes. That's thoughtful, I said carefully. But David usually handles. David's out of state, Tanya interrupted. It would be easier if you gave Nathan power of attorney. Just temporary until we sort everything out. There was the real plan crystallizing before my eyes. I trust you both completely, I said, watching their faces relax. But let me think about it. It's a big decision. Janet stayed for another hour, long enough to witness Tanya's possessive hand on Nathan's shoulder, the intimate looks they exchanged. As I walked her to the door, she whispered, "Whatever you're planning, I've got your back." That night, I listened to them again. I'd become an expert at it over the past 5 years, distinguishing footsteps, interpreting whispers, reading silences. But now I could also watch. Through the crack in my bedroom door, I observed Nathan and Tanya in the hallway. "She's suspicious," Tanya hissed. "Did you see how she reacted to the power of attorney suggestion?" "She's blind, not stupid," Nathan shot back. "We need to be more careful." "Careful?" "Nathan, the settlement transfers in 3 weeks. 3 weeks. We've been planning this for almost a year. We're so close." My breath caught. A year. Not 8 months like I'd overheard before. A full year of betrayal. I know, baby, I know. His voice softened, and through the crack I watched him cup her face. Just trust me, okay? By the end of next month we'll have everything. The settlement, the life insurance, the house, all of it. And Claire will finally be out of our lives. How? Tanya asked. She's not going to just disappear. And we can't make it look suspicious. The stairs, Nathan said simply. She's had close calls before. Everyone knows how dangerous they are for her. One bad fall, a tragic accident. It'll be heartbreaking, but these things happen with blind people. I pressed my hand over my mouth, fighting back nausea. They were discussing my murder like it was a home renovation project. When? Tanya asked. After she signs the power of attorney. We need access to the accounts first. Then, maybe 2 weeks after the settlement hits? That gives us time to transfer what we need, and it won't look like we rushed anything. They kissed then in the hallway outside my bedroom, and I watched the man I'd loved for a decade embrace my sister with a passion he'd stopped showing me years ago. I recorded it all on my phone. The next morning, while Nathan was in the shower, his phone buzzed on the nightstand. I'd watched him enter his passcode enough times over the past few days to memorize it. The message was from a number saved only as J. Did you talk to her yet? We need confirmation by Friday. I scrolled up. Months of messages. But they weren't from Tanya. Her number was saved under T. This was someone else. Someone involved in their plan. My hands shook as I read. The pharmacist said the dosage needs to be gradual. Too much at once and the talk screen will show it. Small amounts in her food over 2 weeks. Depression meds mixed with her actual prescriptions. They'll think it's suicide or accidental. They weren't just planning to push me down the stairs. They had a backup plan. Poisoning me. I quickly forwarded the messages to my own phone and deleted the sent notification. Then I photographed every message thread, Tanya's, Jay's, and several others I didn't recognize. At 10 o'clock, I pretended to go to my physical therapy appointment. Nathan drove me as always, but instead of going inside, I had the receptionist tell him I needed 2 hours for extended treatment. I went straight back to Rebecca Washington's office. Jesus Christ, she breathed, scrolling through the new evidence. Claire, this is beyond a fair and financial fraud. This is conspiracy to commit murder. We need to go to the police. Now. Not yet, I said firmly. I need to know who Jay is. And I need to understand exactly what they've already done. What if they've been poisoning me already? What if that's why I've been so tired lately, so foggy? Rebecca studied me for a long moment. You want to catch them in the act. I want them to face consequences for everything. Every lie, every stolen dollar, every moment they made me feel grateful for scraps while they plotted my death. My voice was steel now. I was blind, Rebecca. Not stupid. Not helpless. And definitely not disposable. She nodded slowly. Hey. But we do this carefully and we keep law enforcement in the loop. Agreed. Agreed. Detective Michael Rodriguez listened to my story with an expression that shifted from skepticism to horror. Mrs. Thompson, what you're describing is serious. If even half of this is true. It's all true, Rebecca interrupted, sliding copies of the evidence across his desk. And we believe there's an immediate threat to my client's life. He spent 20 minutes reviewing everything. Photos, messages, financial records, recordings. When he finally looked up, his jaw was tight. Who is Jay? He asked. That's what we need to find out, I said. Can you help with that? I can have the phone number traced. Give me a few hours. He leaned forward. Mrs. Thompson, I need to ask you something. How long have you been able to see? A week, I lied, adding a few days for safety. I wanted to be sure about what I was seeing before I said anything. Smart. Terrible situation, but smart. He stood. I'm going to get a warrant for your husband's phone records and financial statements. In the meantime, I need you to be extremely careful. Can you stay somewhere else? If I disappear, they'll know something's wrong. They'll run or destroy evidence. I met his eyes. I need to go back. But I need to know who I'm dealing with first. Rebecca touched my arm. Claire, the detective is right. This is too dangerous. My whole life for 5 years has been dangerous and I didn't even know it. I cut her off. Now I finally have the advantage. I'm not running. 3 hours later, Detective Rodriguez called. We have an ID on Jay. Are you sitting down? Who is it? Dr. James Harrison. Your neurologist. The room spun. The doctor who'd treated me. Who'd monitored my experimental treatment. Who'd known for a week that I could see again. And who I'd begged not to tell anyone. Oh my God, I whispered. He's been updating them. He told them about the treatment. It's worse than that, Rodriguez said grimly. We pulled his financial records with the warrant. Nathan Thompson has been paying him $30,000 a month for the past year. I returned home that evening with the weight of revelation crushing my chest. Dr. Harrison, the man who'd held my hand through painful procedures, who'd promised to help me see again, had been working with my husband all along. How was therapy? Nathan asked, kissing my cheek. The gesture made my skin crawl. Exhausting, I said truthfully. But good. The therapist says I'm making progress with my mobility. Tanya emerged from the kitchen wearing another one of my dresses. This one I'd worn to our wedding anniversary dinner 6 years ago. I made your favorite, chicken and rice. How many meals had they poisoned? How many nights had I gone to bed feeling strange, tired, confused, thinking it was just stress or medication side effects? I pushed the food around my plate, pretending to eat while actually concealing bites in my napkin. Delicious, I lied. Claire, Nathan began, his tone carefully casual. I spoke with David today. About your trust. He said you really should have someone with power of attorney just for emergencies. What if something happened and we couldn't access funds you needed for medical care? He's right, I agreed, watching both their faces light up. Let's do it. Can we set it up this week? Tanya's hand found Nathan's under the table. I saw it. Saw the triumph in their eyes. Absolutely, Nathan said warmly. I'll call the lawyer tomorrow. This is really the best thing, baby. I just want to take care of you. That night, after they thought I was asleep, I listened to their celebration in the living room. She agreed. Tanya's voice was giddy. Nathan, she actually agreed. I told you it would work. The power of attorney process is Friday. The settlement transfers Monday. By Wednesday we transfer the funds to our offshore account. And by next weekend. He trailed off, but I knew how that sentence ended. By next weekend I would be dead. I almost feel bad, Tanya said, and for a moment I thought I heard genuine remorse. Then she laughed. Almost. But God, I'm so tired of playing the devoted sister. Do you know how hard it is to pretend to care about her boring blind person problems? Just a few more days, baby, Nathan soothed. Then it's just us. Hawaii, remember? We'll finally be free. I recorded every word, tears streaming down my face in the darkness. Friday morning arrived. Rebecca had insisted that Detective Rodriguez and 2 other officers be present at the bank, hidden, when I signed the power of attorney documents. Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, the notary began, spreading papers across the desk. This grants your husband full access to your accounts, including the disability settlement. Do you understand what you're signing? I do, I said clearly. Through my dark glasses, I watched Nathan squeeze Tanya's hand where they sat in chairs against the wall. She'd come along for moral support. And you're doing this of your own free will? No one is coercing you. No one is coercing me, I confirmed. I trust my husband completely. The pen felt heavy in my hand as I signed. Nathan practically vibrated with excitement. Congratulations, the notary said, gathering the documents. This will be processed by end of business today. We left the bank. They didn't see Detective Rodriguez follow us out. That afternoon, while Nathan went to run errands, actually meeting with Dr. Harrison according to the police tale, I finally told Tanya I could see. Tanya, I said quietly. We were alone in the kitchen. I need to tell you something. What's wrong? She touched my arm, the concerned sister act firmly in place. I removed my dark glasses and looked directly at her. I can see you. The color drained from her face. What? I've been able to see for 2 weeks. The treatment worked. Kept my voice level. And I've seen everything. The way you look at my husband. The way you touch him. The way you wear my clothes in my house while planning my murder. She stumbled backward. Claire, you're confused. I have recordings, Tanya. Photographs. Bank statements. Text messages between you, Nathan, and Dr. Harrison discussing how to kill me and take my money. Each word was a knife. I know everything. Her face transformed then, beautiful features twisting into something ugly and hateful. You self-righteous bitch. You've always thought you were better than me, haven't you? Perfect Claire with her perfect life while I got stuck with nothing. I raised you, I said, my voice breaking. After Mom died, I raised you. I paid for your college, your car, and you never let me forget it. He screamed. Always the martyr, always the hero. Even blind, you were still the favorite, still the one everyone worried about. Do you know what it's like living in your shadow? The door burst open. Nathan rushed in, Dr. Harrison behind him. They stopped dead when they saw me without my glasses, staring directly at them. Hello, Nathan, I said softly. Dr. Harrison. Thanks for coming. That's when Detective Rodriguez and 4 officers entered through the back door. Nathan Thompson, Dr. James Harrison, Tanya Morrison, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, fraud, and attempted poisoning. Everything happened fast after that. The reading of rights, the handcuffs, the shouting. Tanya screaming that I'd ruined everything. Nathan silent, his face ashen. Dr. Harrison trying to bargain, claiming he'd been coerced. The trial lasted 4 months. The evidence was overwhelming. Nathan got 25 years. Tanya got 20. Dr. Harrison 15 plus the loss of his medical license. But winning didn't feel like victory. I stood in the house we'd shared, now empty except for boxes. Everything was mine. The settlement, the house, the accounts they'd stolen from. I'd gotten justice. But I'd lost my sister. My husband. My ability to trust. 5 years of my life had been stolen by blindness and another year by betrayal. Janet found me crying in the empty living room. Hey, she said gently, sitting beside me. You did it. You won. Then why does it hurt so much? I whispered. Because you loved them. Both of them. And love doesn't die just because it should. He squeezed my hand. But you survived, Claire. And you'll do more than survive. You'll live. Really live. He was right. I sold the house and moved across the country. Started a support group for people who'd experienced intimate partner betrayal. Wrote a book about my experience that helped thousands. But some nights I still wake up in darkness, heart pounding, reaching for a light I'm terrified won't be there. Some scars never fully heal. I can see now, truly see. Not just with my eyes but with clarity about who people really are. It's a gift born from devastation. My name is Claire Thompson. I was blind for 5 years. And when I could finally see again, I witnessed a betrayal that shattered everything I thought I knew about love, family, and trust. But I'm still here. Still standing. Still fighting. And that has to be enough. Thank you for watching this emotional journey. If this story touched you, please like, subscribe, and share. Drop a comment telling me what you would have done in Claire's situation. Remember, trust your instincts, protect yourself, and never let anyone make you feel weak for being vulnerable. You deserve better than betrayal. See you in the next story.